Hello and welcome back to the Ashley Show. I'm your host, Ashley, better known as Ashley the Hippie on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. On today's episode of the Ashley Show, I'm going to be starting a new series called Tea with Ashley. And through this series, I'm going to be interviewing a lot of different guest speakers. I feel like although you can know a lot, you can never know enough. So any information anyone's willing to share, especially for free, is gold and you should take it. So sit back, listen, enjoy, and allow someone else's life experiences to give you a new perspective to consider. My first episode of Tea with Ashley, I'm going to be interviewing a very talented young entrepreneur who has not only the education, but the experience to back up his trade. Join me as I take a seat in Dr. Barber's chair and stick along to see what knowledge he has to share. Let's give a big warm welcome for Dr. Barber. Dr. Barber, thank you so much for joining me this morning and having me in your chair. What do you consider yourself? Like, are you a barber, a cosmetologist?
I'm a doctor. I perform surgery on hair. So, save a lot, you know. If you go out there in the woods and catch a bear, put it in my chair, I'll put a fade on that.
What inspired you to become a barber or a doctor?
Well, me, honestly, we grew up going to the barber shop, and one day, I don't know, I was sitting here waiting on my turn. I think I was next, something like that. And, I just looked at the barber and I was like, yeah, I can do that. And that's what's inspiring myself.
How long have you been practicing your profession?
Oh, wow.
You don't have like a time frame, like 2 years, 15 years, 5 years?
Oh.
Okay. Most people rely on time to perfect their skill, but you took it a step further by going to school. What inspired that?
Well, I'm mandated to be licensed in order to practice here. But I'm going to answer it this way. I'll say being in school gave me a good perspective of what being a barber is and just the history of it itself. So as to be in school made me enjoy the occupation. So it's just going to move forward. I got to even hear the history aspect of being a barber, being black. Like, you know, knowing that being in a barbershop, a lot of civil rights meetings were held in the barbershop, and being a barber, we have a unique texture and grade of hair that we're going to retain and manage and style as being a barber ethnicity. So it was the first $1 million industry before civil rights day. But what I did also learn is that they weaponized schooling and said that now you have to be licensed to go to school. But fresh out of slavery, some blacks couldn't read, write, and custom here. And it is a trade that isn't necessarily about electricity. A lot of things is for you can walk. Or plumbing, a lot of things is for you can price. This is more so like I'm seeing, so it's like basketball. You shoot enough, you don't pay so, you get there, right? It kind of like last to the program made our country even before civil rights. So the fun of that, snake to report about being more of a black guy. This is like life, I feel like, well, definitely a doctor, and you don't hear the thing on the side going home. I'm sure you're going to be hard.
No doubt. Do you feel like you mastered the art of your profession already?
Good question, but I look at it like all in your life, you always gonna learn something good. And here's our constant change. So you always want to push yourself, but all the time, some things you don't need to, you know, time like how to lay a fade real fast, or how to do locks real fast, or some things come easy with time, but you always are gonna want to push the envelope and learn something new as time goes on.
Why is working for yourself so important to you?
Personally, Yeah, personally, I feel entrepreneur at heart. So it makes sense to me to be in situations where entrepreneurship should be an exercise. And I'm not saying that the 9 to 5 thing is a bad thing at all. I'm just saying what works best for me. So there's more things for me to work for myself. And it's it. Entrepreneurship. It's a spirit for that.
I see that too. Like, I feel like a lot of people get so trapped in their 9 to 5s and working for other people because it's how we're trained to go out of high school. Like, they train us to work for other people. And I feel like people don't typically take the opportunity to work for themselves or like learn a trade where they can make their own money. They feel like they need to rely on somebody else to pay them. So like, that's really beautiful that like you chose to like get out of that rat race in a sense and like work for yourself, because a lot of people, like especially of color, don't choose that route.
Yeah.
But we're also not taught that.
Absolutely. And then sometimes you don't know what you're going to know, so it's all about exposure. And I'm fortunate enough to kind of see my own lane and see like, okay, this shit only work for me. What else did I do? And I was trying to find my niche for myself. I didn't find no other blind person, and I had to be of service to people. So it all kind of coincides with one another. I enjoy what I do. So yeah, it's revenue involved. It's all the first out with that.
And it's crazy too, because people are always like, if you like what you do, you're not really working. So I feel like definitely like working somewhere where it doesn't feel like work and making money from it definitely is just like
Right.
you're living the dream.
Yeah, right.
After having the experience of working for yourself, like making your own hours, choosing like your pay rate, all that, do you feel like you can voluntarily like work for somebody else again?
Well, being that I told you I've been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
I'm constantly involved in community events, giving back, or reconnects here, and for the less fortunate. And some people use that and say, like, oh, I'm gonna get my lessons by giving back. I believe that giving back is my lesson. So I got no problem with volunteering and helping less fortunate, because me being in this field, I've seen so many times how much a hairstyle can change somebody's confidence. How much a haircut can boost somebody's confidence to get that job or go a step further, be more productive in their life. So I have no problem with volunteering or giving back. That's the only way for it to keep going around by spreading around.
That's a beautiful perspective. Like, I'm always thinking like, once I start my business and like, or once my business takes off, like I'm never going back to working for anybody else. But the idea of like it being like in a sense of like tides or like giving back to the community is like a very nice perspective to look at.
Yeah, definitely.
When you were little, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Well, I'm not little anymore. I believe I'm still growing up, so I guess we'll see.
Do you feel like your values as like an adolescent align with your current occupation?
Yeah.
In what way?
In the ways of like, I like being, I just touched on being of service to people. Working with people that's, not necessarily everybody's cup of tea. We all been to like the restaurant, the waiter's room, or in a drive-thru, they got attitude, or some type of the bus drivers, man, I don't take the bus. Something like that. And you work with people, so maybe you should have a different job, a cubicle or something, instead of driving a public bus and you got to deal with people. Or you shouldn't be a waitress, or you shouldn't be something of service, or you got to deal with the public. You shouldn't be a nurse or something. Me working with people, I found so many different walks of life, and I like engaging. Some people I would never talk to, people I never got to know, everybody never talk to me. And I fun with that, so I think that it's working with people and being in the public definitely allows me anything I want to do.
Is there some advice you want to share with like the audience?
Just do it. Just do it. Don't worry about it. If you're worried about money, you're never gonna have the money. If you're worried about the perfect time, it's never gonna be a perfect time. Just do it. Don't worry about it. And stop worrying about what people think. You know what I'm saying? If you know how fast this can get you gone, just stop living for others. I'm ready for the talk here. So, yeah, man, just do it. Jump out the window. You got it.
Love it.
Sure.
And then, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah. How do you feel about entrepreneurship?
I think that it's important to like practice entrepreneurship, like especially if you've never been exposed to it, at least once or twice in your life. Like start a business or start doing something like that you're passionate about. And like if you're an artist, sell your art. If you're a musician, like put a song out. Like I feel like it's important for people to like get the experience of working for themselves, even if it doesn't work out and they have to go back to working for somebody else. At least you know that you tried, you know, or that you were able to attempt to do something on your own. You didn't need anybody to hold your hand, or you didn't need like a handout. Like I don't think jobs are necessarily handouts, but I do feel like a lot of the jobs, especially in America, like set people up to work like slaves. They pay them the bare minimum that's not like sustainable for them to survive off of or afford, like, you know, the proper nutrients, the proper housing. Absolutely. Like things that we need as like, yeah, exactly, as human beings. So I feel like with the laws that are set in place, it's not setting you up to live, it's setting you up to, or yeah, it's like more setting up to like survive or just to, you know, be able to work for somebody. And I feel like being an entrepreneur gives you the opportunities to actually eat healthy and actually like enjoy life and see what all it has to offer. So like I said, even if it doesn't work out, like just to try it, because you never know, like it could actually work out. That could be what people are made for. Absolutely. But we never know because you don't try. So I feel like it's very important.
Yeah, I agree. Entrepreneurship is spiritual journey. Like I said, it's going to expose a lot about yourself. It's going to be there as we put out, but it's going to be there if things don't work out just as planned, because it's like literally a part of it. And it's beauty in that. You're going to start with what does work, and if it hasn't been for those pain, you're going to see yourself. So, because the deeper you dig, you're going to see yourself out there. So I think that everybody should just exercise some type of self and put in a dream and just, whatever you can contribute.
Yeah. I like how you said it's like a spiritual journey too, because I feel like being an entrepreneur really like allows you to find yourself, or to like see yourself at your lowest point, because you really have to like hustle and grind, and it's not anybody holding you accountable. You have to hold yourself accountable. Like you have to wake up every day and be hungry and know like, okay, what is my goal? How much money do I need to make in order for me to like support myself? It's not just clocking in and clocking out and waiting for a paycheck. So you really do go on that spiritual journey.
Absolutely. It's beauty in it though. Like you take on the other side, you know, you're gonna just see yourself in all reflections of doubt, all reflections of success, all reflections of fear. You will see yourself and just try to keep digging once you recognize that you got this. It's all on you. And that you can give some good. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just a hairstyle. It's not just a haircut. This is the mouthpiece to the world. You know, and so you got to see your art like that, your music like that, your talent like that, your podcast like that. It's your contribution to life. So yeah, man. Let's go entrepreneur.
What do you feel like being an entrepreneur taught you about yourself that you didn't learn from like a minimum wage job, or like from like your family? Like, do you feel like you've learned anything about yourself?
Yeah, I learned is that I learned that I have a skill, and the skill is perseverance. And I didn't identify it as that mission. I saw it's just like, oh, I got this. I'll work hard. I'll go get her. But no, it was certain strides to where I noticed that, and I was trying not to compare myself to some people might have broke. Some people may have gave up, but I had perseverance, and I was seeing myself always come up with it. I'm like, damn, like, it don't look like no light at the end of the tunnel, but here I am, now performing service.
Yeah. And we love to see it. Haircuts always coming out clean, hairstyles, he also does facials. They're all amazing. Where can people find you? Or like, what's your thing?
Instagram? Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. It's at _ Dr. DOCTOR 2 B's Barber. So Dr. BBARBR, Dr. Barber. Yeah, hit up. I do locks, style, haircuts, I do facial. I do everything but taxes, man. Everything but taxes.
Do you have anything else you want to add or share before we go?
I'm not looking like on topic, but you know, Chase Bank, JP Morgan Bank. At one point in time, before it was Chase Bank, it was JP Morgan, and like in between like 1830 something and like 1863, they had slaves as collateral in the bank. And they had up to like 1,300 people at one point in time for loans and all types of stuff. So now modernly they're catching up now, and now it's Chase Bank. And it's just drift. But I will say this though, they feel some type of slack. So if you're trying to build some credit, if you're black, they kind of feel bad about it. So they will give you a credit card. So you gotta pick their board.
I did not know that. They don't teach you all that in school.
Yeah, you gotta do your homework, man. When you have your business.
But you said they do look out for black people now?
Yeah, well, I ain't gonna say nobody look out for us, but I will say this though, there is some type of guilt that you should exploit that. This Chase Bank is like more lenient to like younger or older, or just the demographics of you know what I'm saying, Black Americans, based on JP Morgan's history in the 1800s, where they had kept enslaved individuals for collateral.
So is it more beneficial for like business owners or like any kind of accounts?
I think both. Personal credit and business credit. They understand like, okay, we messed up at one point in time. And as you should.
Bro, love to see the accountability.
Yeah, as you should.
I mean, we're never gonna get our like reparations. How do you say it?
Reparations?
Yeah, we're never gonna get it, but you know, like any little pieces or little bits, you know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me to sit in your chair. Thank you for having tea with me this morning. And I hope to...
This tea is bomb, man.
Thank you, I tried. All right, Dr. Barber.
All right.
It was a pleasure.
Anytime, man. So welcome.
Once again, that was my first episode of Tea with Ashley. It's going to be a new series on The Ashley Show. I hope you enjoyed every moment of this podcast / videocast / my beautiful face. Thank you so much for listening or watching if you watched it. Please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe if you enjoyed any information that you heard, or if you yourself would like to share any information with somebody else watching in the comments. I really hope you enjoyed my video or podcast. And like I mentioned in my previous videos, I like to end on a positive quote or something to think about, like while you're not listening to my beautiful voice. And one thing that stuck out to me from my interview with Dr. Barber was, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know, so it's always important to learn something new each and every day, because you never know what knowledge you may not have that is holding you back from reaching your dreams or greater goals in life. Sometimes we think that we know everything just because we're an expert in certain things or because we've mastered some skills, but like he mentioned in the video, you don't know what you don't know. So it's always important to go looking for information and always expanding your mind and trying to figure out new things. Every day you should be learning something new. As humans, as individuals, as living beings in life, we need purpose. And if we're constantly doing the same thing over and over and over, yes, our life has purpose. However, it doesn't have like growth or change. And eventually we'll either get stuck in our ways and become robots to society, or we will break out of those ways and learn different things that continuously evolve us and improve us and prepare us for bigger and better things. So once again, you don't know what you don't know. So always go out looking for new information and look for new things to sharpen and shape your mind. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your week, and I can't wait to talk to you in the next podcast. Till next time, keep growing sunflowers. Bye.